Thank you so very much. Good afternoon and welcome to this show. Today, this is a special edition of the John Mayaki Show because we are celebrating uh, Comrade Sunny Ofehe. We are celebrating one of our comrades, a quintessential comrade that has inspired a lot of us. We call him hero of democracy. Comrade has risked and for human rights for both of us, for social justice. Fortunately, he's 50 years today. Congratulations, comrade. We're going to bring to you today live with us, Comrade Sunny Ofehe. Comrade Sunny Ofehe. Good afternoon, comrade.
Yes, thank you so much for having me in your wonderful program. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you, and most importantly, for choosing this very day, which happens to be my birthday, not just my birthday, but also my 50th birthday. So I'm deeply honored and privileged to be part of your program.
Thank you so very
Thank
much,
you for
sir.
having me.
We appreciate, sir. You see, we need to celebrate our own, especially when we are young. We've seen a lot of people who pass through this world, no history, no record. 20 years time, 50 years time, you Google them, you don't even know anybody like that. You see, while alive, we think we should celebrate our blessings and encourage each other to say, this is how I made it, this is hard work, it pays, patriotism, and all of those. Today we are going to be sharing all of those from our comrade. Also joining us is Comrade Idris Jr. Idris Zakari Jr. is a regular on the show. He's one of our. He's going to join us to celebrate our comrade. Idris, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to celebrate, to be one of those who is privileged to celebrate the quintessential and iconic Comrade Sunny Ofehe today.
Oh, thank you so much. That's quite interesting. You see, life is better when we celebrate our successes. When we celebrate values. You see, it's better that way than you see people celebrating stolen words. You see them celebrating things that do not add value to associate myself with Comrade Sunny Ofehe. I'm proud to also associate and to invite you, the Comrade Idris Jr. Thank you so much. And so today, a golden jubilee of a truly remarkable existence that has set the gold standard of a life governed by stubborn insistence. Our comrade is stubborn, no doubt. I must give it to him. But positively stubborn, comrade, you want to... Comrade, congrats again. Will you want to introduce yourself to our guests?
Okay, well, I am comrade, live in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. I am married with 4 children. My oldest son is 21, and my youngest one is 14. I left Nigeria November 26, 1995, via KLM through Kano International Airport, and I arrived in the Netherlands on the 27th of November 1995. This was just 16 days after Kensa. We were the other activists were executed by the satanic and barbaric administration of the Sunny Ofehe. So my journey, probably I will talk about that in details later. My journey was rough, and I came to the Netherlands without a passport, without a visa, and with $5 in my pocket, not knowing anybody. And I think I was around 22 years old at the time. You know, I didn't even know the differences in weather conditions. So I was wearing not what you would call a suit like what I'm wearing now. I was wearing a coat when I left Nigeria. So I came into a different world entirely where I had to meet a lot of culture shock. I had to quickly adjust myself on how to adapt to the environment, which was not easy. And so down the line, as I celebrate my 5th year today, the sober reflection is mainly focused on my journey, my transformation from leaving Nigeria and what I have become today. Like you rightly said, stubborn. Yes, I even to those who are close to me, they always say that I'm stubborn. In reality, I don't like injustice, whether it's directed at me or directed at anyone around me or even directed at my enemy. I always try to find a way to correct injustice, by pressing on and putting the values that can make injustice to be silent while giving space to justice. So I am from Delta State in Nigeria. I am an Isoko. I grew up in Nuveli. And so because of my background, the Niger Delta issues have become my core area of emphasis, and I have become this self-imposed global voice for a lot of people who are voiceless in the remote regions of our communities, people that are suffering from environmental degradation and also human rights being trampled upon by oil extraction by the multinational oil companies, which ironically I happen to be living here in Netherlands, which is just about 25 minutes away, which until late last year is to headquarters national company. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I think because of this whole view, areas that I may not have covered right now, we'll be able to touch on them.
Thank you so very much. That's quite interesting. I don't want to just jump there, oh, he has arrived, he has made it. No, I want you to give us a sense of life when you were young. How did you come about the little money you traveled out with? How did you hustle to make that money?
Okay, good. Well, I did not actually hustle to make the money, but the big sacrifice was made by my mom, who unfortunately is not here to celebrate my 5th year with me, And one of the things that have also given me the gorilla impetus to carry on my struggle has always been because my mom sacrificed so much to ensure that I become who I am in life today. But unfortunately, she's not here. So my activities, my activism is always centered towards how will people remember this woman who did so much for this young man. And unfortunately, it's not part of this young man's life to enjoy the fruits of our labor. In the wake of the June 12th presidential election, there was, you all know what happened. There were pro-democracy activists scattered around the country at that time. I was part of the student union movement struggle, to enthrone democracy at a time where we were facing a repressive government of Babangida, which later went on to Abacha. And I had personal likeness for Chief Mpio Abiola. He was my role model. He didn't know me. I never had a chance to meet him. But his philanthropism, his simplicity to life, and the way he accepted people, the way his philanthropism cut across religion, ethnicity, and touched all aspects of Nigerian life. And that clearly showed in how people came out to even vote for a Muslim ticket at that time, without questioning the fact that even Christians saw the need for them to also vote a Muslim candidate, because at that time he had donated a lot of churches to a lot of area. So from when it came to when the crisis subsided, there were a lot of massive arrests taking place at the time. And then, of course, I called my mom and I told my mom that it was time for me to leave the country. And then my mom told me that she didn't have the money to raise. Of course, I knew that we didn't have the money to cover the travel at the time. So, and then I brought the option of my mom selling our home in Benin City at the time, but my mom was from Benin. Paternally, I'm Isoko, but maternally, I'm from Edo State. Benin City. So, and immediately I suggested that my mom did not hesitate, and she made those sacrifices, and we sold our house and moved from there to a tenancy apartment. I could remember vividly that the house was sold for 500,000 naira at that time, and so she took 25,000 out of that money to rent an apartment, where we paid 6 months from that rent, and then she gave me 475,000 naira at that time. Then I followed the contact with which I could leave the country, and then that contact brought me to Kano. And so when I got to Kano, it wasn't the first time of being to Kano, because myself and my dad had passed through Kano 2 or 3 times when we went to Maiduguri, But it was the first time I was entering Kano to stay, and I stayed 6 months in Kano. All possibilities to leave at that time was blocked. And so I started using part of the money to pay for hotel accommodation, to feed. And, I could remember that when it suddenly appeared as if, the sacrifice my mom made was going to be a waste. And so in the last minute, God opened the door, and then I eventually left the country. And, my initial destination was supposed to be Paris, and because I was flying KLM, we needed to do a transit in Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam connect the flight to Paris. And then knowing fully well that I was coming to seek political asylum, the first safe haven in Europe is always considered the place where you have to make your asylum request. And so Amsterdam became the choice for me. And so at the time, after doing 6 months in Kano, my whole BTA that I had put together, to sustain me in the first period of my arrival, because I didn't know anybody, it wasn't there anymore. I had spent them in feeding, in paying for accommodation, to the extent that I had to share my hotel room with someone else because I couldn't afford to pay it alone. And then feeding, I had to skip breakfast, do brunch, combine lunch and breakfast together, and hope for how dinner would take care of itself. So, so by the time I was leaving Kano, with all honesty, I didn't have any money with me. So it was the guy who was also traveling with me under the same condition that had $10 with him, and then he had 2 $5 notes. So he gave me one, and then I took one, and then we shared that money. And the bus that was carrying us from the boarding gates to the tarmac where the plane was parked, and then eventually I entered the plane. We were 3 like that. I got into the plane, got to Amsterdam on the 27th. Requested for political asylum. 2 of us made it. Unfortunately, the other guy was returned to Nigeria 2 days after. And that was how my journey started. And this was how I was able to raise the money to come back. And so in 1998, 3 years after I came, I needed to do something to take my mom and my younger sister at the time out of that precarious situation that I put them because of my travel. And somehow God did it. In 1998, ironically again, I was able to raise about, from working and all of that, I was able to raise about 1.2 million at that time. And then 500,000 naira was used to also buy a land somewhere. If those people who stay in Benin are hearing me, somewhere behind Tom Lyne's house along Testami Road, behind Tom Lyne's house along Testami Road. Eribo Testami, one of the lands were going for sales at the time. And so the land was bought for the same amount our house was sold for 500,000. So I could remember the moment I landed in Amsterdam, and it was a huge relief for my mom. Huge relief. Because while I was still in Kano, rumors were going around. Some said they saw me somewhere, they saw me there, that I'm stranded in Lagos. Some said I've gone to Libya. Some said that I was in. Some said, well, that they heard that I even sent a car that I was already in Germany. So, and those whole stories, my mom was not finding them funny because at the end, he knew that the aim had not been achieved. So when I landed, she told me, my son, I'm happy that you made it finally there. You've taken shame away from me, but don't take your hustle too far. You know, we'll be okay. I'll take care of your younger sister. I'll do my best for you. And yeah.
Comrade, that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. The part you will tell us now, Comrade Idris, I'm coming for you. Comrade Idris, I'm coming for you. See, we need to learn. And I want him to really teach us a lot of things. For those of you watching us, the lines are there open. Feel free, call us and share your thoughts with our comrade. Celebrate with us today. Comrade, tell us how not to travel.
How not to travel. A lot of people have also sold properties, and today they are in the country. They lost, and everything got. So tell us, how do you think? A lot of people have passed through the bush part, Libya, you know. Yeah. So, comrade, have you any experience? And tell us what you know about that.
You know, I've never been against anybody living in Nigeria to see greener pasture abroad. I will tell that if you find yourself in this part of the world where I am, in Europe, for instance, even though you're suffering, you're still guaranteed few things that you need to be a millionaire in Nigeria to enjoy. For instance, I'm talking to you right now. I'm not afraid that the power is going to go off. I'm not afraid.
I just went off.
You see, I'm not afraid that the internet strength is going to go low. You know, for those who are tech savvy, my internet at home is close to about 1,000 Mbps. So the speed is very, very high. And anytime I go to Nigeria, I struggle to get about 180 Mbps. You know, so that slows down business, communication, and things. I know people who want to celebrate me today who are complaining of even the common data on their phone to go and write something on the wall, you know. So some of them have used different means to reach me through people to say, well, if I'm not commenting on your page, it's not because I don't want to, it's because I don't have the means to. And those things, they hurt me. And these are people who were my peers when I was in Nigeria, you know. So, and I know people when I go to Nigeria, even my used clothes, they want to have them. Even though I try as much as possible to give, I am not enjoying those moments. And these were people who were even far much more intelligent than me at that time, smarter than me. But their greatest undoing has been because they are behind while I moved to a society that welcomed me. You know, I didn't need to know anybody for the Dutch authorities to pick me up at the airport, brought me to an asylum center, gave me full healthcare services, provided for me. Remember, I did not leave Nigeria with a jacket. I didn't even know that I was entering Europe at a very cold period of their weather, you know. So I have never been against people leaving the country to seek those greener pastures. But what I want to tell people is that you must first of all identify who you are. Then you discover your potential. When I was leaving Nigeria, I knew that by the time I leave Nigeria, my future was going to be bright. My future was going to be bright because God had deposited in me what I know I need to be able to advance my life. But one thing that I did not get carried away, I knew Europe was made of bed of roses. I knew that we see not rocket science. So for my future to be bright, I need to go through adversity. I need to go through challenge. Even if I do all the fasting in the world, do all the prayers in the world, it's still not going to be enough to guarantee me a smooth sailing. Yeah. Since that journey of 95 till today, I must make one thing, but not to scare the viewers. I must tell you that my life today, even though what people see now is what some people call the bling bling, you know, the enjoyment part, the inspiring. I've gone through a lot that I can never wish for my enemy. I just mentioned my mom. In 2007, my mom was assassinated, strangled to death in the same house that I built for her, you know, by unknown people who I still don't know till today. It took 10 years to give her a fitting burial in 2017. So, what I do now is to appreciate God's purpose for my life and even thank him for taking me through tumultuous times. Because I understand from the Bible that, he said, I will give you double for your trouble. So I always feel that for me to deserve God's double, I need to anticipate trouble. So when those trouble comes my way, I just look at my conscience and I ask myself, is there anything that you do that is making you reap trouble? And then I answer no. And when I answer no, then I knew that God is about to open a new chapter in my life. And new chapters don't open without trouble to your current chapter. So this is it. So when you want to leave Nigeria, even when I was in Nigeria, even with all, if somebody had told me that 10 million euros was waiting for me on the other side, for instance, in Spain, that I should go through the land, through the waters to go and pick my money there, I will never go. Because at that time, I knew that my intelligence level, my smartness level was not meant for a road journey. I would rather prefer to wait for God's timing than to embark on such risks. Some people who do that have lost absolute value of who they are. They've lost control and they just say, well, even if I die, it doesn't matter. Even at that time when things were tough for me, I didn't want to die because I knew that my goodness was still waiting for me. So I was looking for the paths that would bring me to those glorious paths without at the same time risking my life to either die or live. No, it wasn't really worth it. So for those who want to come, the doors are open. Even now, it's much more easier. I host people every time here who come from Nigeria because you have everybody now. There are cousins, there are families everywhere in Germany, France. In my time, you cannot. You're going to Holland. You don't have anybody in the whole country. You don't have anybody in neighboring Belgium. You don't have anybody in neighboring Germany. Even when you come here, you begin to look at, and this is where we also have to, appreciate our diversity. Because when you come here, even if you don't see somebody from Urobo, and then you see somebody from Benin, and then I can connect maternally. And then you see somebody from Igbo, then I can say, okay, I know somebody in Igbo State. And so these were the encouraging factors. So you set yourself, you know who you are, you know what the challenges are over there, then you look at how you can overcome them. And if you know you have the means and the capacity, then you can come. But always don't put your life on the line, because I've been to Lampedusa in Spain, I've been to Catania in Spain, and the purpose why I did that was because I was working to do a documentary to showcase how much of our young people have died on the Mediterranean Sea trying to seek greener pasture, which is sad. It calls for a total, if it was a Western country, the lives that we lose on a daily basis on the Mediterranean Sea is far much more than even the victims of the Boko Haram the terrorist activities we face. It's just that emphasis are not put into those parts. And I've met some of them who have told me the harrowing experience that they go through. You will never wish that to even the worst person who don't want you to live. This is my take on this.
Yeah, thank you so very. Yeah, thank you so very much, comrade. Before I go to your political life, when you contested the election, I want to also come to your best food between the food you eat in Nigeria and the food you eat in Europe. I want to come to all those areas, but you founded the Hope for Niger Delta campaigns. What informed that decision?
Well, like I said before, when I came to Holland, it was like on the 10th November was when Ken Saro-Wiwa died, and then I came on the 27th, so which was like 17 days after Ken Saro-Wiwa died. And then coming to the Netherlands, Shell has a huge national oil company is located here, the Dutch Ministry of Economic Affairs. So that tells you from the company is in the country makeover, politicians who become top people in Dutch politics were either working at top executive level in Shell before they went into politics. Now, talking about this aspect of forming this organization, it was actually born out of, there were a lot of questions people were asking me, like, what happened? What is Shell doing? How come they were complacent in the killing of these so-called activists and all that? Why are people asking these oil companies to provide schools, provide hospital and all that? There were so many questions that people were asking. Even including their journalists. So, and most of them had no clue, had no first-hand information of what was going on there. So they were relying on national press like the Associated Press, AFP, and their news angle from a major story, So when I discovered that, then I now looked at the whole country and I said, okay, there's deficiency in information, and to put it in the right perspective for those who have interest in our region, which is the Niger Delta in this case, there is need for me to start to talk. And then, of course, you cannot talk as an individual. You need a platform. So if they want to invite you to come and have a discourse on some issues within the region, you need a platform. And so that was how Hope for Niger Delta campaign was formed. The hope was, let's see what we can do, to raise the hope for our people. Then, of course, Niger Delta in the middle. And then campaign was more like the strategy with which I want to use to achieve those goals. And so the organization was set up in 2006 and has been on since that time to now. And we've made a significant inroad in terms of giving information and also attracting some of the European stakeholders to remote areas within the Niger Delta region. So I've been to a lot of riverine communities. And in 2015, we were even kidnapped in southern Ijo, area when I went with some Dutch people.
Quite harrowing. Comrade Idris, you are here. Hello, Comrade Idris.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, what will you say? You've listened to our comrades' experiences.
Experiences and life. What will you say about our comrade in celebrating him?
It is always better to learn from somebody
gathered a lot more experience than yourself. And that's why I've been listening attentively. My only fault in this meeting today is that I did not bring my biro and paper so that I'll be taking good notes. But of course, I have a sound memory and I'm storing as much as I can store. Yes. I am particularly proud to interface with Comrade Sunny because we have a lot in common. He's a product of the University of Benin. I am a product of the University of Benin. He studied industrial chemistry, whereas I studied industrial mathematics. And of course, he's a comrade and I'm a comrade. Yes. The only difference here now is that he has 20 years of more experience than myself, and he also has the experience of the foreign world. I particularly want to celebrate because people like you are what we need to create mentorship for the younger generation. Yeah. We have lost a lot of values in this part of the world that we now celebrate what we should condemn. The mentors that we see these days are the advanced fraudsters, the thieves in government. Just do anything bad. Just do anything bad and just be crazy, and then you get a lot of views on social media, and then you become popular, and then you're celebrated. But people like you louder for the society to draw inspiration from. Yeah. Because a society that does not celebrate its best inadvertently is glorifying its worst. That is it. Yeah. So I congratulate you especially, and of course there's a lot to learn, and I'm learning. You're a Benin man, Benin boy, and you're a Benin man now because you're both Benin. I am a Benin boy. And in 1995, I can imagine what you people were going through during those days of military dictatorship. Even in this civilian administration, those of us who are speaking truth to power are passing through untold hardship, economic deprivation. I now begin to imagine what you people pass through in the hands of those military leaders who had absolute power to do as they wish. So, well, you are here today and we celebrate. There are many more who died. There are many more. We have to celebrate those who came out so that we inspire to let them know that if you stand on the path of truth,
chances are that you will do well and you do well with a good name. Congratulations, Comrade Sunny.
Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so very much. Comrade, tell us, at what point did you think you needed to go into politics and that there are deficiencies here and there and that you can impact into society? You contested for election.
Yeah. Well, to say the truth, I never thought that I would be involved in any kind of political process where I'll be asking for votes to vote into any kind of elective office in Nigeria. But what I've always thought is that the experience, the knowledge, and the exposure that my coming to Europe has offered, which I have tried to share with those in political office, was sufficient enough for, so I wanted to pin myself, since I was in the civil society space, I wanted to pin myself more as like my Comrade Idris who says, speaking truth to power. I wanted to see myself more like a pressure group, who will add his voice from an international angle to policies that are not being implemented very well. But in the course of time, I discovered that a lot of Europeans had passion for our region. They're looking for, who to connect. How do we solve this problem? People within the NGO space, people within the governmental space, So in the course of my discussion, I started getting all sort of advice, solution to problems, perennial problems that we've been facing. And even in the business world, a lot of investors who say, well, why do you flare gas? We've got modern technology that can, hold your flared gases together, convert them into renewable energy to boost your power generation capacity and all that. So, and then I started, having discussion with those that I know who were in politics, who were holding offices. But the reaction I was getting from them was very poor. It's very difficult to see a Nigerian man who thinks that whenever you own something positive, you do not have monetary interest behind that. Yeah. And I wasn't driven by that. So, at the end, you want to bring a good idea to the people. The moment they know that it's not for them directly, for them to benefit directly, it's for some kind of, whether it is constituency that they even represent or not, they were not interested. So it came down to the level where the more you push, the more you become a suspect. The more they begin to suspect you that, why is he pushing like this for this? And then at a point, your calls go into voicemail. That's saddened me a lot in many aspects. So I just decided that, okay, what would be the best way for me to tap into this opportunity and be the bridge connecting the opportunities that I've seen in Europe to the opportunity, to the needs of our people back home in Nigeria. And then I see how our neighboring countries like Ghana are benefiting, Now, Ghana is almost like a hub to many European institutions, many European businesses that welcoming the politicians who want to work with them and see bring change to Africa through Ghana. And then I see how countries like Kenya, Uganda are getting those benefits right here. I've spoken at the European Parliament in Brussels. I've brought the needs of the Niger Delta to the core table of issues, to even committees that are saddled with the responsibility to bring down, hope, and not just hope, but also investments, to our area, and so Dutch Parliament. Is there. So once I flag off Niger Delta calling, it resonates very well with them because they have their interests also at stake, and then the Dutch with Shell, and then of course right here in Brussels, where it's a platform for 27, 28 until UK left, 27 European countries put together. So and the needs players, that have investments in our country. So, but when I saw that those things were not happening, and then I started thinking, okay, maybe I should take another strategy. And then, of course, the moment came when, like I said before, my mom was assassinated in 2007. For 10 years, I did not give her a befitting funeral. And then on the 27th, I decided enough was enough, and I needed to do that. And so when I finally buried my mom in Benin, wow, I still feel goosebumps now remembering that day. A lot of people turned out, a lot of people came, to join me in giving her a.
Okay. I think we'll connect you again. I'm sure there are technical issues here and there. Thank you so very much. Today, we can hear the story of our brother, Sunny Ofehe. He has told us
how he traveled abroad. He lost the mom, and assassination, but we thank God for his life. He's 50 today, and we are celebrating him. Is that not interesting? We hope to bring him back again, so that he will join us. Comrade Idris, I'm not sure you are there again. We hope to bring you guys. The lines are there, free, call us. They are published online there. They are published on the screen. We expect you to call us and celebrate with them. They join us on Zoom. We hope to connect them back immediately. We get these technical issues sorted out. Sunny Ofehe is a great man. I call him the hero of one of the heroes of democracy. He will join us shortly and continue the discussion. Comrade Idris, I'm sure you're also having a technical issue over there. I hope you also join us. And so, that is the life that is well lived. A life that is well lived. A committed life. A life full of patriotism for his community, for his country. Yes, I know you are going to join us back. So that is a life at 50. At 50, Comrade is encouraging us on how to better our society and how to live a life full of commitment to nationhood. We want to appreciate you, Comrade, and thank God for your life. Comrade Idris, are you there?
Yes, I'm back.
You want to make sure your phone is on landscape.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, Comrade Ofehe is also back. Comrade Ofehe is. We welcome both of you back. I think there was a technical glitch somewhere. Comrade Idris, Comrade is talking. He was saying something. Let's conclude so that we can listen to Comrade Idris. Comrade Sunny Ofehe, can you conclude? Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I think I got disconnected.
Yes, there was a technical issue.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, a lot of people turned out to support me and to stand with me, and it was a great event. And then that was when a few of my very close friends came to me and said, well, you comrade from the diaspora, and we thought you had lost touch with this. So if you can bring all of these people together from diverse background in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria, then of course you can run for public office. So the question was now like, okay, if I agree to run for public office, what kind of office should I run for? Then the issue of, do you have the money? Do you have the know-how? Are you really in touch? Politics is local. Are you really in touch with your people back home and all that? And so on my way flying back to Europe after the funeral, I had to think deeply. And like I said about when you want to travel abroad, the first thing, if you want to change yourself with any life ambition, is to first of all understand who you are. Because if you do not understand who you are, that's when you begin somewhere along the road. You're not sure where you're going, because you didn't really look at your potential and you didn't see yourself as being capable of dealing with the challenges that are coming. And you start talking about home trouble, witchcraft, and all that, which has no place at all in your ambition, So, and then I asked myself, okay, well, you're not really, okay, they could be right. You're not connected to the grassroots, and who are you? I mean, what can you bring to the table? What difference can you make? What are your areas of strength? And then I looked at it, and people said, "Well, go for House of Rep, go for Senate, go for governor. Just look for any political office and go." Then I now discovered that, well, I've got huge network. I mean, my network a lot of countries, and enough in my 26 years of staying in Europe to have been able to create a diverse background. My credibility has been tested, my transparency has been tested, so I don't do crime, and everything about me is in the open space. And then most importantly, what do I really want to bring to my people before I can decide on which office to run? And I started looking at the area for that investments. I know how many business contacts that I have that are willing to move to Nigeria with me if I hold a political office. And then I started looking at the civil society space. I know how many association organizations that are willing and ready to even make wherever I run my elective office to also join me in contributing to the betterment of the people of my constituency, or the people who will enjoy me. And then I said, okay, well, if I would do massive campaigning in the grassroots in Nigeria, do massive campaigning at local government and state level, then there is need for me to also do massive campaigning internationally, because I wouldn't want to run for a public office where I rely on just allocations that are coming from God knows where, or something like that, which is what has always left our states, our local government, and our wards to be financially deficient. So offices are meant to be run like a business. Even if you get allocation, there should be a way you can manage your allocation to be able to, here in Europe, they invest, they buy shares with states, local government money. There was one crisis, the city of Rotterdam lost a lot of money because they invested the money in Iceland Bank, because the profit that was returning on those money was high, So this is how you should run a government. And then I said, okay, if I have to sit down in Rome, for instance, to talk about Delta State, where I come from, how will I get the president of Italy to listen to me? He must listen to me if I am running as a governor. If I have to go to The Hague and have a discussion with the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, how will he listen to me? He must listen to me because I am running for the governorship office, where his interest also lies in my state. So looking at, and these are possibilities that I can open up if need be. So that was when I decided, even against a lot of those who advised me that I was going to go for the governorship ticket. And in 2009, I made an inroad. I started consultation. I met a lot of, I met Obasanjo, Jonathan, I met highly placed people, and then I also went to the labor union, National Union of Road Transport Workers, Lupeng, Pegasus, and all of those people that I consider stakeholders in our development. So did a lot of consultation, and then I did my best, and I can look back now and say that whatever monies that were invested, whatever road path that I followed, I have no regret at all. I have no regret at all, because I learned a lot of lessons. It brought me to know even more about what our challenges are, and what our people need, and what the suffering is. And then it also gave me hope, because I was able to identify a lot of smart, intelligent, productive young people who are not properly being used by governments in the country. And so this was why I chose to be. At the end of the day, after due consultation, it was clear that there was no space on the PDP platform for the governorship slots, because, of course, they rely more on zoning, and they know who will be the next candidate. So I met the likes of Chief James Ibori, Otige Oyegu was APC governor at the time, Modu Sharif. So I can start counting names, And I had a very wonderful chat with the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, in Dublin, in Ireland. Then, after listening to me, knelt me down, prayed for me, and he told me go and conquer. So I think I'm still carrying that for today. But in 2019, after due consultation, the APC Delta State at the national level settled for Greater Ogboro as their choice. And they told me to step down, otherwise whatever I spent from that moment onward would be a waste, because they've already taken decision. And then that was how I stepped down, worked with Chief Greater Ogboro during the elections, learned a lot, and then when he lost, I came back to the Netherlands to continue what I've been doing. And of course, looking back, I think I still have a lot to give back to my constituency, to my state. So I'm still pondering right now on the best path to follow. But 2023, God's willing, my name will be on the ballot. For which office, I cannot tell.
I was coming to that. If you are still going to give it a shot, I was coming to that. Comrade Idris, what is your takeaway?
Well, it's if you hope to affect society and you want to do it without getting involved in politics, I wish you well. So I have always argued that unless you run a charity organization, even if you run a charity organization, the kind of government you have will determine whether that charity organization will even first of all function.
The quality of government you have. There was this incident somewhere in Rivers State when the governor wanted to build a road, and the community people brought juju and planted on the road, because in that part of the country, when you want to build the road, you have to pay for the juju to be removed so that you can build a juju. So they manufacture juju and put on the road so that they can collect more money for them. So it tells the mind of the people. But the governor Binu told them that they should tell Juju to come and see him before he can pay compensation for Jujuism. So it's the same thing. The quality of leadership you have. I'll give you another instance. The Edo billionaire, who is late now, may so rest in peace, Captain Osa Okumbo, once said that he had made up his mind to invest substantially. I said this, I think, in 2019, thereabout. I still have the video. That he made up his mind to invest billions in Edo State to create jobs. But when he looked at the government of Edo State, he didn't trust the government. So he said, let him wait. Because no matter how rich you think you are, if the government policy can come tomorrow and completely ruin everything you have done. So it shows that the quality of men and women in office goes a long way to determine the fate of society. Look at Rwanda. Rwanda is doing extremely well today. They have a national carrier. My friend was traveling. Mr. John, I told you the other day I was in the international airport. One of my younger ones was going abroad for schooling, and he was going through Kenya Airways. And I looked at the amount we were spending both on luggage and everything. And I asked, I said, why can't we have a national carrier? Because now, if you are traveling with Kenya Airways, they will take you first to Nairobi. Not because from here to the UK is about 5 hours or 6 hours. But from here to Nairobi, maybe it's another 5 hours, then you go another 5 hours again. They want you to see the capital of Kenya. They just want to showcase their country. We as a nation, we don't have a national carrier. So these small African countries, Rwanda, Egypt, Kenya, have national carriers, and we patronize them to go to London, to go to the US, to go to Dubai, to go to France. The quality of leadership once more. So as a takeaway, I am motivated. People have always told me that if you are a civil rights activist that you are talking to me now and you do public affairs commentaries, you should instead not have political leanings. I said, then that makes me, I stop being a human, because when there are two choices, I should be able to pick one. I say, I prefer this one to this one. This will do better for society than this one. So I've learned a lot from the comrade today. We hope to see you coming home soon to run again. We wish we have had someone like you to run in Edo State, and not regardless of the office, with your kind of reach and connection, so that we can at least affect the life of people and lift our people out of poverty. In your own little way, continue to reach out to the youth. There's a lot of despair in this land. I can tell you for free that there's a lot of despair. There's a lot of hopelessness around. We should continue to find ways to reach out to the youth, organize programs that will touch the lives of the youth, expose our young people to foreigners, to foreign contact. Because when we see what young people are doing, when a 20-year-old in Benin sees what a 20-year-old is doing in Netherlands, the motivation to live that kind of life, to stop living the life of courtesan, prostitution, and crime. Because when we say courtesan and yahoo, we always think of men. We forget that there is the new wave of prostitution now that don't stand on the roads, that our young people as young as 17, 18 are doing. So we need exposure. Exposure is the secret. The difference between you now and somebody who remained in this country over time is exposure. You have been exposed. You have now seen that you don't need to drive 10 Rolls Royce to be an important person in society. You now know that you don't need to acquire all the land in Ubiyoko or in Ubo village to be important. You now know that your name must not be on the street to be an important person. So this exposure is what we need, and this kind of reach is what we need.
Let me. You need to react to that. Yeah, you need to react to that.
You just touch a fundamental aspect of what drives my determination to hold an office. You know, I have prayed to God. I have told God that, like Prophet Isaiah in the Bible said, when God said, go and choose a king among Judea, you know, and then he went around and he came back and he said, God, if there is no king, choose me. You understand? He was a messenger. But when he went around and saw that there were no persons who could match the characteristics that God wanted, then he said he's availing himself. That is what has encouraged me. You just mentioned Rwanda Air. You know, for a man who has traveled, I did not have the privilege to fly in the plane all my years in Nigeria until I took KLM, you know, for the first time in 1995. And today, I pride myself because I fly KLM Air France together. You know, I am now a platinum elite member of KLM Air France. That's the highest level of loyalty you can get. So that makes you need to do a minimum of 70 flights in a year to be able to retain that on a yearly basis. Now, every time I pass through airports, I see, you know, Rwanda Air. I see Ethiopia Air. I see even Ghana recently, you know, Ghana Airways. I see just a few days ago, I saw Seychelles. How do you pronounce that? Seychelles. Yeah, small country, an island. You know, I see their airlines. And you just mentioned transits. You know, Schiphol Airport. Yeah. The body that manages Schiphol Airport is called Schiphol Group. Yeah. Now, they don't just manage an airport for transit passengers. They also function as a company that is profit-driven. Therefore, Terminal 4 of JFK Airport was built by Schiphol Group. Yeah. Then the new Terminal 4 in Dubai was also built by Schiphol Group. Yeah. Now, why are they asking a European airport to come and build their own airport in the country? It is because, you know, if you go to Charles de Gaulle, for instance, you go to Frankfurt, you go to London Heathrow, some of your connection, you need even transport means. You need either a rail line or bus shuttle and all of that. But Schiphol Airport is a one-terminal airport that serves the same purpose like those big airports where you have to inconvenience yourself, have a minimum of 2 hours to be able to connect the next flight. In Schiphol Airport, they can put you on a connecting flight that is even 45 minutes because they know the distance from where you're coming down to where the gate you're going to take your next connecting transatlantic flight, you know, it takes you about 9 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and they don't stop there. One of the reasons Kenya Airways is sending you to Nairobi is not only for you to hear Kenya Airways. You might be hungry, you eat McDonald's, you do a bit of shopping. There was not enough time to buy things for your loved ones that you're going to see wherever you enter your destination. You use your transit boarding pass to do shopping. You spend. And now, most of the airports find a way to attract millions of passengers. And do not forget, you are VATed. VAT. In Holland, 21%. Most European countries, 21%. So the moment you transit in Amsterdam, everything you spend, 21% of everything you spend goes to the government. It's a massive income generating avenue where even they float on the stock market to even make profit for people who don't even live in the country. You know, and to let you know how powerful that institution is in terms of economic advancement, the government of such country have tried every means to hold on to the highest shareholding capacity so that they can have the final say and final decision. Now, I just mentioned Seychelles now, yeah? It's into my mouth. That's what they are paying in Lisbon, you know? So it's also an advertisement for your country, you know? Makes people to know you. It makes people to know you. And then when you have to rely on population to be able to make more money. And then we have the population. So we do not have any excuse not to float our own national carrier, you know? So that is one regrettable aspect that is making us lose on a daily basis. Now, I'll come to another thing that is even within my house. But before I go there, in 1995, when I came to Amsterdam, the dual carriage way from Amsterdam to Rotterdam, where I currently live, was 4. 2 lanes on the left, 2 lanes on the right. Yeah? Today, when I was driving back yesterday, it is now 12. 6 lanes on the right, 6 lanes on the left. It is not rocket science because I saw the advancement. So when you bring top politicians here today, you know what they tell you? Oh, God don't bless your Igbo. God don't do it for them. No. They were once like us. Patriotism, the ability to know what they want, where they want to put their country, how they want to make their people feel, has led them to where they are today. So for those who come to Holland today, if they travel from Schiphol Airport to Rotterdam, they say, oh, wow, 6 lanes. There was a time when people even came before me, said it wasn't even 2 lanes so I came too late. It was it was a motorway from there to Rotterdam. So this is the thing. My son is 21 years old. When he became 18, he came to me and he said, Daddy, stop paying my school fees, stop buying me books, stop buying. He not spent a dime on his education since he became 18. I know many people in Nigeria who have shut down their businesses because of school fees, because they pay millions to educate their children in a society where they cannot even guarantee a job of 30,000 naira monthly. So that should get us thinking. Whereas we have the United Nations that is on the one hand campaigning that education for all, then you expect me to be the executive governor of Delta State and rely on budgets that will come to my Ministry of Education alone? No. I will take the same United Nations Sustainable Development Goal project and bring it to New York, to Geneva, and say, look at my papers. I've not been able to pay my school fees. You cannot be here preaching that the world can be a better place where we have a direct example of people that are suffering. We can tap into that. But you need to have the right people to connect. You need to have the right institutions to connect. There are many European countries, many European companies today that are looking for areas to put in their corporate social responsibilities, but they don't have a match. Just recently, 2 years ago, Kufuor, what do you call him, the Ghana president of Ghana,
Kufuor, the president of Ghana,
went to Germany on an official trip. They had about €7 million that was waiting for them that had not been collected. Something that came from some kind of support that the German government was supposed to give to Ghana. An NGO there discovered it and put it on his agenda to drive him that way. So the moment he landed, the first benefit to Ghana as a country was the €7 million that was owed to them. There are many in Brussels that they owe us, but nobody's coming to ask for them. I've searched my governor, Okowa, 8 years of rule in Delta State. The only place he has gone officially is China. Whereas where I stand right now, Rotterdam, we have everything that is similar to what we have in Delta State. Any right-thinking governor of Delta State must make here his home. They have the largest concentration of tank farms here, 15 minutes drive from where you're talking to me from right now. I go there sometimes just to look at what they've done from resources that they don't have.
Wow, that is quite great. Comrade, we want to really thank you for this opportunity. I wish we could continue and keep listening to you. Because of time, we'll come back again. We'll find out, I don't know your busy schedule. We need to go into your political aspiration so that we can have that different from your birthday. Once again, we want to congratulate you at 50. Comrade Zachary, your last word for our comrade.
Congratulations. You have inspired a number of us today, and we continue to hope that you continue doing what you are doing. Don't give up hope. There's a lot to be done here, and it's an opportunity to reach out to as many as possible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations once more.
Heroes don't come any better than comrade. A man
whose entire life has been that of devoted service. Thank you so very much for this opportunity and happy birthday. Thank you, viewers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, viewers. Bye for now.